Hello aspirants. During inflation, what do we expect generally? All of us know the price of products increases during inflation. But have you noticed sometimes the price of certain products that does not increase but the quantity of the products shrinks, that we call as shrink inflation. One of the phenomena that happens during inflation, but generally the common consumers, they do not notice this shrink inflation. So what is exactly meant by shrink inflation? Shrink inflation means instead of increasing price of products during inflation, companies will shrink the quantity of the products. That means maybe, for example, 30 rupees you may be getting 100 grams rice in a packet, but during inflation, have you ever noticed you are paying same 30 rupees but you are only getting 80 grams of the rice? That we can call as an example of shrink inflation. But the interesting fact is that as a common consumer, I may not be noticing this small reduction in the quantity because I am happy even during inflation I am paying only the same 30 rupees. This is one of the manifestation of shrink inflation. So there is lessening of the quantity. Why do companies engage in this shrinking of quantity of the product? One, to overcome increase in cost of production. Two, to overcome intense competition in the market, because companies want to ensure that consumers are sticking into the product even during inflation. Now our question is whether shrink inflation means only shrinking of the quantity of the product, or is there any another way of shrink inflation? Yes, definitely. Sometimes companies, instead of shrinking the quantity of the product, they will look into alternative options. Can we modify the form of the product, or can we do some alteration in the product so that we can overcome increase in the cost of production? Yes, they will look for the alternative options. For example, Cadbury dairy milk, when you buy, you must have noticed a golden aluminium foil, but during the time period of inflation, in order to overcome this cost of production, they have removed this aluminium foil. So this is also another manifestation of shrink inflation. Now, as a consumer, what do you feel about shrink inflation? Is it a fair practice or unfair practice towards the consumers? See, in Consumer Protection Act 2019, there is a provision that all the consumers are having right to information. That means as a consumer, we should know regarding quantity, quality, size and form of the product. But during shrink inflation, what happens? We are being fooled by the companies. So we can say Central Consumer Protection Authority, they should bring some guidelines so we consumers are being informed about the changes in quantity or quality or the form of the product. Because all of you know, in economy, consumer is the king. So I hope all of you understood the concept of shrink inflation. So if you have enjoyed the video, like, subscribe and share our channel. And before leaving, please try to answer this question. Thank you.